Ever get that feeling? Like, you know history's more than just dates and names in a textbook.
Oh, absolutely. It's the stories, right? The human side of it all.
Yeah, exactly. And today, we're diving deep into one of those stories. A story about faith and courage set against the backdrop of the Roman Empire at its peak.
We're talking about Polycarp.
And to really understand what made him so remarkable, we have to go back to his writings. Specifically, the account of his martyrdom.
It's a powerful text full of these incredible details that really paint a picture of what life was like for early Christians under Roman rule.
Because this wasn't just some philosophical debate, was it? This was second century Rome. You defied the gods, you defied the empire itself.
You were a threat, plain and simple. The Romans, they believed their success was directly tied to the favor of their gods.
So imagine being a Christian in that world. Imagine refusing to offer even a pinch of incense to Caesar.
It was a death sentence in many cases.
And that's what makes Polycarp's story so fascinating. Yeah, because this wasn't just some random believer. We're talking about a man who actually knew the Apostle John. Can you imagine that? A direct link to the very beginnings of Christianity, staring down the full might of Rome.
It's incredible the more you think about it, this firsthand connection to Jesus's disciples. It's like a direct line to those earliest days of the Christian movement.
A movement that was about to collide head-on with an empire that wasn't known for its tolerance of dissent.
Right.
And here's the thing about Polycarp. When they finally came for him, with the authorities ready to make an example of him, he doesn't resist.
No, he doesn't. Which, I mean, come on, that's kind of the last thing you'd expect, right?
Totally. You'd think run, hide something. But Polycarp, he does the opposite.
He welcomes them in.
He does. He invites them, these soldiers, right there into his home, offers them food, offers them drink.
An incredible act of hospitality when you think about it. These were the people sent to arrest him, to, in their minds, extinguish this threat.
It's almost like he's saying, look, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of what you represent.
It's this radical act of defiance, but cloaked in compassion.
Exactly. And what's amazing is it works. It throws them off completely. They're so disarmed by it, they actually give him time to pray.
2 hours, the texts tell us. Imagine that.
2 hours to prepare to face potentially a really gruesome death. And it makes you wonder what was going through his mind during those 2 hours.
It's hard to know for sure, but you have to imagine it was a time of intense prayer, maybe even a sense of peace, knowing he was living out his faith to the very end.
And the fact that they granted him that time says something about the impact he had on those soldiers, don't you think?
Absolutely. They might have been there on orders, but even they could sense that there was something different about this man, something worth listening to, even for a moment.
And then comes the real test, right? They haul him before the Roman proconsul, basically the embodiment of Roman law and might.
Talk about pressure. I mean, can you imagine standing there knowing your life hangs in the balance?
And they don't make it easy on him, do they? They're like, just say you're sorry, deny your God, and you can walk away.
Recant. Save yourself. It's a theme you see a lot back then. The Romans weren't above giving people a chance to fall back in line. But Polycarp, he doesn't budge. He throws their words right back at them with this line that's, well, it's iconic. For 86 years I have served him, he says, and he has done me no wrong. How then can I blaspheme my king and my savior?
Powerful stuff. And think about it. He's not just saying no to the proconsul. He's making a statement about what he truly believes. 86 years. That's a lifetime of devotion he's talking about.
And he's not just talking the talk. They threaten him with wild beasts, with fire.
The worst kinds of punishments the Romans could dream up.
And he doesn't flinch. Where do you even find that kind of courage?
It speaks to something deep inside him, doesn't it? A belief that's so strong, so unshakable, that even the threat of death can't touch it. And then, of course, we get to the execution itself. And even that, it's almost like it's cloaked in legend. The pyre, they light it, and the flames, they don't consume him. Instead, they say the fire arched around him, almost like a protective barrier.
It's a detail that's probably been embellished over time, like stories often are. But it speaks to how people viewed him, even back then, as someone touched by something truly extraordinary.
Like almost superhuman. And it doesn't stop there. They say the air was filled with this incredible fragrance, like incense, instead of, what you'd normally expect.
And when the fire doesn't do the job, they bring in an executioner, right, to finish things.
But even then, it's like something intervenes. The stories say that Polycarp's blood, it put out the flames.
It's an image that really drives home the point they were trying to make, that even in death, Polycarp, his faith, his spirit, It couldn't be extinguished.
And what's really amazing is how people responded. They didn't just mourn him, they celebrated him. His death date became this annual event, this reminder to stand up for what you believe in, no matter the cost.
And that's really what makes Polycarp's story resonate even today, thousands of years later. He reminds us that there are things worth standing up for, even in the face of impossible odds. That true courage isn't about being fearless, it's about holding onto your faith, your convictions, even when everything around you seems determined to make you let go. So what do you think? What will your story be? What will you hold on to when the heat is on?
It's something to think about, isn't it? This deep dive into Polycarp's story, it's more than just ancient history. It's a challenge, a call to examine our own lives, our own beliefs, and ask ourselves what truly matters.
I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back, no turning back. Though none go with me, I still will follow. Though none go with me, I still will follow. Though none go with me, I still will follow. No turning back, no turning back. The world behind